Hello everyone, I am your host, Trimper, and today we're playing Hearts of Iron 4 Old World Blues. It's a Fallout mod in the Fallout universe. Takes place before the second Battle of Hoover Dam. Let's get right into the game. As you see, this whole world is highly expansive. Goes from Canada to Mexico, only the western coast of the United States. They haven't finished eastern coast of the United States yet, as we are the Enclave, the remnants from Camp Navarro. As for our troops, we have 4 XO1 power armor in 1 infantry unit, as we got Sergeant Dornan as our leader for now, as we got political infighting, basically what the United States right now is, Enclave scientists, power armor expertise, complete chaos, cannot train units is terrible, protected by Sierra Army Depot, and hiding in plain sight. We remember Navarro. Many thought the fall of Navarro was the end of the Enclave, the end of the American dream, but as with the Great War, the world would discover is not so easy to defeat America, not by a long shot. Okay, we're gonna get Ohm's Law by getting more research and appeal to refugees. We'll get organized agriculture for food. We'll get refined warfare. And we'll get pack Brahmin. I'm a casual player. In the lair of the bear, we are now on the borders of the NCR, rogue nation occupying America's soil. We cannot deny that they will destroy us if they become fully aware of our existence. Luckily for us, the bear is blind. We can buy bureaucracy, infighting, and an effectual leader. With the right efforts made, we can hide under the very nose of NCR until we are strong enough to reveal our plans. But we cannot keep them in the shadows forever. It will become harder and harder to conceal ourselves as time goes on. Our time will come. Remember, we play National Focus. Remember Navarro. When the Big Rig was destroyed, the last hope of America lay that Navarro and the Brotherhood and NCR now saw. I cannot speak. Do it that the American dream was to be snuffed out. With many standing on the edge of despair, the toughest soldier of the Enclave, Sergeant Major Dornan, rallied the what few troops he could muster and... Oh, cool! I got, like, extra options. Escape before the fight got bad. Fought a way out with power armor. Ooh! It's gonna eat away. Yeah, you know what? I think the visions will help a lot. Okay, we have a lot of people. Okay, we have some purists. Oh, cool! They got the special stats for their thing. Okay, who's gonna be Army Group Commander? Major General Grimm.
That's a no one.
And Lieutenant Mary, or try different people without any political edge they're on. The Reformer. Okay, we're gonna get this cool guy right here. Old soldiers never die. Like much of the Enclave, Doran tried to hide and integrate after the fall of Navarro. He took to a disguise in Vault City, becoming infamous amongst those who have threatened the peace and quiet of Vault City. That was until one day the NCR Rangers arrived. Old soldiers never die. For years, Dornan, under the name of Chad Ranor, hid amongst Vault City security. Many within his old unit settled there as well, growing the population considerably. Wartime was peaceful, though by no means idyllic. Word of the NCR saw Rangers and military police rounding up former Enclave citizens who also tried to integrate. During one caravan security run in Sac City, Dornan watched as a mother and a father were hanging for their association with the Enclave. Not even the children were spared. It took every ounce of discipline to not open fire right where they're there. Vault City bureaucracy kept the NCR at bay, but that was only for so long. Then one night, there was a knock at old Sergeant's door, and he was greeted by the streetly eyes of NCR Rangers. They have been come looking for him and spoke to him by name. It was a tense fight, but by the end of it, there was two dead NCR Rangers, and Doran knew his time was up. Never said morons! So where did I put that power? Okay, I get more power armor. You get more like command power. I don't need that right now. I could get, like, extra power armor for new troops, so... Yeah. They came for him, they'll come for the rest. At the height of the Enclave's power, Doran had the distinctive privilege of leading his own unit, something unheard of, being he was a non-commissioned officer. However, Doran's Rangers ranked aside the Devil's Brigade and Granite Company in terms of effectiveness. When Navarro fell, they, of course, rallied behind the most feared and respected man in the Enclave. Yet as time wore on, in the dream of America flickered out, they moved on, though many settled in Vault City. When Dornan arrived at the house of his second-in-command, fist bloody from the encounter, they all knew they were no longer safe. The two went door to door, knowing the hour was coming. The night saw an exodus, Dornan doing his last act as Chad Runner to get them through. They made their way to an abandoned pre-war base off near Reno. New Reno. It was long abandoned, and few actually know of its exact location, but Doran did. As the family settled into the pre-war bases, only one thing was on their mind. Ready for revenge, or they wanted a future for their children? Wanted revenge. Sons and daughters of liberty. The veterans of Enclave are old, aging, yet there is new generation of Enclave who are ready to take up the flag and defend America. New generation of Americans. Time, however, had marched on. Dornan's cropped black hair and turned silver white, and even his best officers grew wary with age. Yet among their numbers were not a series of old Enclave, but a new generation sired by the old Enclave of old. Many were taught the basics of survival, others were taught how to be soldiers. Many of the older ones were here tonight, were rangers, and they had taught their children well. They had come of age, being taught of the Enclave of America and their heritage. Doran thought back of the child hanging beside his parents, then looked up to the families huddled around the center of the depot. Even if a few said the Enclave was dead or the American dream was gone, they weren't going to give up, not this time. For the Enclave future, or for they are Americans' future. They are Americans' future. Calling on all Enclave. We can use the old radio broadcast equipment around the depot to send out a signal alerting other Enclave survivors to our presence. Calling all Enclave. The Sierra Enclave, using old codes and working endlessly to get the radio running, the refugees from Vault City began broadcasting from afar. The encrypted channel would be hidden from prying ears like the NCR and security from those who knew how to, like the Brotherhood. Soon others began arriving, some from the Northeast and few out of California. A month in, a series of vertebrates arrived, having come out from Bloomfield Space Center in California. Among them was Frank Anderson, a well-respected scientist in his time and a brilliant orator who managed to rally many within the depot to the old purist cause. While others chafed under the words, one could argue it played into the Enclave's desire for revenge. Not long after, a separate group arrived from Oregon, a famous mercenary warband known as a Granite Company, and historically was one of the greatest units in Enclave. While Granite Sr. passed away not long ago, his son, Douglas Granite, had taken over, and where Anderson made fiery reports of vengeance for the purity of America, Granite made impassioned speech to counter talking about the reform in a new beginning. Night after night, this continued, and soon came to a head when it was suggested the depot hold up a vote. A nice politician and mercenary war. Interesting. Things certainly got busy around here. Okay, command power or political power? We're doing good on command power currently. We're not at war. Things certainly got busy around here. Like the Continental Army at Valley Forge, we will not give up and will not vanish into the wind, and we will never let America fall. We will come back. We will win, and America will never fall. Sergeant Major Arch Dornan, 2275. New research came in. New research, we get either bikes or crub, no. Pair. I got work as needed or work assignments. Okay, we're gonna do work assignments for our quotas on factories. I think we'll get urban patrol armor. I think we're gonna hide our activities from the NCR. We get a military theorist in development. Never let the old flag fall. Despite that all that's happened in the last few months, the Enclave remnants are scattered far and across the American continent, from MacArthur to Chicago to possibly even Texas and beyond. Dornan came to Sierra Depot for a reason: to create a stable base far from prying eyes and prepare for the future. Now with that, what he has, that what Ernestine and Granite have, can accomplish just that. It will be hard, difficult, but that never stopped America before. America will rise, America will go on, the rig may be gone down, and families hunted like rats in sewers, but the wasteland should learn it's not so easy to take America out like that, not by a long shot. Okay, God bless America. Never forget our past. This is still the United States. By God, quit crying. Never forget our past. Military heritage unlocked. Our choice. Sergeant Dornan is well respected by both the Reformers and Purist factions within the Enclave. The Enclave needs a president, however, and the Sarge expressed disinterested of being called a sir for the rest of his career. He works for a living, damn it. Ohm's laws unlocked. We get some training research. Creating an agency now. Violent Eagle. Yeah. Wait. There you go. America's Hidden Talon. Our choice. Sergeant Dornan is well respected by both our support faction and Enclave, nonetheless. Neither see him as a viable president and have presented their own candidates. The Purists have selected Franklin Anderson as their candidate, while the Reformers are led by Douglas Granite. It appears the Purist faction has the advantage, but the support of the Sarge could still tie up the scales in favor of the Reformers. I'm going with Douglas Granite first. Now, to do the Purist in another series later on after this. Zorn decides Dr. Ennis is a moron. Our president, we have made our choice, and that choice will change the future of the Enclave, and we are successful, America. And who really is the man we elected? Americans' Hidden Talent. Agency created. Our president. Sins of the Father. Grant's past is a controversial subject in our mindset, made all the more continuous by rumors spread by purists. The cause is Grant's father and his relationship with the Chosen One. The purists accuse Grant's father of treason for aiding the Chosen One and destroying the oil rig, but lacking any evidence. Even veteran members of the Granite Company admit that Granite just showed up one day as an infant, and Granite Sr. never spoke whose Granite's mother was. Granite himself grew up never knowing who his mother was, or what happened to on the rig, or even at the depot. Brought all these to a head, but Granite brushed it off, despite the fact that he will deny these allegations as nothing but political slander. Douglas remembers clearly what his father told him on his deathbed about that fateful day on the oil rig. Aided the Chosen One. Speak of the Chosen One, let me tell. Okay, he didn't aid the Chosen One. If I say speak of the mother and lost his ability, I guess I could use non-core manpower. Douglas Youth. Grant grew up on the campaign trail with his father, learning there from radical officers, reluctant grunts, and jaded followers. When not learning basic skills such as reading, writing, and math by follower teachers, he was taught by the various old members of the Enclave to ensure he had a American upbringing and to be proud of his heritage, as I being soldiering skills and how to field strip a laser rifle. Granite was raised with a fervent hatred of communism. Sadly, 200 years of enclave propaganda and living on a rig run under command economy mean the members of the Granite Company were left with a vague mindset of what communism was. As such, Granite knew all the enemies of America must be communist. Spent all history on his father's Pip-Boy. Okay, Granite's hatred of communism will play a role in the future events. Is it necessary to lock? Okay, we hate communism. Douglas' first contact. When Douglas was 17 years old, he was finally allowed to follow his father's on a mission. And Granite established himself every bit the man his father was, even more. He piloted vertebrates to Coover, supped with Rio soldiers along the river, and learned much from the people. Much to his father's chagrin, he went in a way native nonetheless. Granite Sr. shed tears of pride giving him a position with the company, where he quickly rose through the ranks despite his father's influence, until a chill day in November 2268, when the tape plays for Granite Sr., and so past the last American for Granite Company and the last of the Western Enclave. They saw it up to Granite to write the epilogue. Granite himself decided to write the next chapter. With determination, he took charge his father company, and on his first mission, leading Granite Defense Company, he received an emergency distress signal. The mission sounded desperate and came from MCR Platoon, the Brotherhood fighting super mutants, Steer Scouts seeking new land. I think the Brotherhood could be a viable option, but they're religious fanatics. Nah, I don't like working with Californians, and I don't like to work with people who wear skirts for a living. So I'm gonna side with the Brotherhood. Douglas' decision. When Douglas arrived to his team, as the situation of the defenders had grown more dire, Granted with his company stayed out of sight, determined their next move below them. Brothers were holed up in the remains of a highway patrol station, being swarmed by a dozen supermutants and centaurs. Several knights have already been killed, and a paladin with their T-45 chestplate torn off and being devoured by the centaurs. Their brother has worn down the supermutants, however. Granted has a clear shot to the supermutant master leading the assault. Taking stock of the situation, both the sorry state of the Brotherhood and the supermutants Douglas decided to wipe them out, light them out, lest they reveal the Enclave's survival. Holy crap. To help take down the mutant. Okay, I think I prefer to help take down the mutants. I could be friends with the Brotherhood. The good life. For a while, Granite and Granite Company lived the life of mercenaries, taking the dangerous jobs that paid well but were seemingly impossible. A life of adventure, daring, and more than enough to fill volumes worth of pulp comics. Even had an entry in a Kiffin's NCR Comics Resurrection Squad. Grant himself became something of a folk hero in Western Oregon, and it was said that he always seemed to have someone watching over him. As more than once an incident where he should have clearly died, resulting in his foe being sniped from afar. A suspiciously placed weapon or a door unlocked that shouldn't have been. Grant, of course, counted it as a good fortune. Were not on the job, he was more than at home, kicking it back with his company, earning a loyal following of hardened veterans who would follow him to hell and back if he asked. They come to an end. The fame, of course, was a double-edged sword, as a unit mercenary supporting Enclave power armor was more than to attract attention of a certain two-headed bear. It started with several NCR Rangers were spotted around Arcata, but this wasn't too far out of the norm ever since the NCR moved into Northwest California. However, they didn't stay long, but members of Granite Company noticed they were eyeing them with suspicion. More than a few members of Granite Company noticed they seemed to be casting their compound, and at night, their compound took sniper fire. Granite lost two of his newest recruits that night. However, they don't just randomly fire weapons in Arcata without half the town returning fire. By the time Granite and his veterans arrived, two NCR Rangers lay dead, and a third was being held hostage. After some enchanting interrogation, it was revealed that they were after Granite Company and the remnants of the Enclave, and NCR was going to bring them to justice. The postmaster was made it clear that to Granite that he was to leave lest he bring all the NCR upon Eureka. For the first time in his life, Granite had encountered something he couldn't shoot his way out of. He didn't know what to do. That he was until one of his company came forward, having picked up a signal. Oh my god, so much words. It started leaving the home you grew up in, and many of Granite Senior's members argued that they should be just overthrow the postmaster and establish their own little enclave in Arcata. Granite pondered a few hours, but concluded that even if they did, NCR would just have a greater excuse to attack. Here in Arcata, they have fewer numbers than at Navarro, and all of Granite Company knew of the fall of Navarro. I believe that the Seer Army Depot was a trap, as while the signal was an Enclave origin, it seemed to be too perfect. Timing of the signal was and the arrival of the Rangers, it would have to be a trap. Decoding the signal using some equipment sold to them by some crazy caravan merchant, the voice of Doran came over the radio. No one dare question if Arch Doran would have betrayed the Enclave. He died before being made a stooge. With that, it was decided Granite Company would form up with Dornan at the depot. Granite Company made the track at Nevada, but battling along Mirelurk-infested rivers, taking down Superman war bands, trading shots with NCR Army forces near Reading, even a daring rescue of their own from the den after they were captured during the attack of the day and day. Sell as many weapons possible. Rescue a few. I think rescue a few. Crisis in the Depot. Grant's arrival in the Depot was quite the unexpected turn of events. No one expected some backwood mercenary company from Oregon to arrive. They arrived to find the depot full of Vault City refugees who have been used to living in comfort and most barely knew about how to field a strip a laser rifle. What was more than was a firebrand old man who was trying to rile up the refugees with the rhetorical his father had always warned about. Everything come to head when Anderson was going on a fiery speech about killing the mutant, and Grannon spoke out against them. In a surprising turn, Anderson's aggression was blunt by Grannon's sheer stubbornness. It soon devolved into personal attacks from Anderson at how Grannon was a mutie lover. Further, more than a few members of Granite Company were originally in the Enclave have been recruited after. The final nail in the coffin was the allegation that Granite Sr. had aided in the destruction of the rig. That's one no one dared dirty the legacy of Granite's father, not while Granite still breathed. Ready to pummel Anderson to death, or gun Anderson down right there? I think I'd like to break through or to attack. Yeah, pummel him. Thankfully, was talked down from such the spirit of 13. Thankfully, was talked down from such violence. Not to mention the fact that Anderson was surrounded by several soldiers in Enclave power armor as well. Granite cursed Anderson, saying it was that thought that burned down the Enclave in the first place. And something in him seemed different. Granite was almost possessed as he shouted, drawing all in the room to him. Even the uninterested Sergeant Major Dorn turned his head and raised an eyebrow. After calming down, Grant decided that if he couldn't physically beat Anderson with his fists, he beat Anderson at his own game. He had a few ideas that there were always in the back of his mind. Only involved taking up the presidency of the NCR, but why bother with trying to go to the NCR when he could have so much more here in Nevada? Against the advice of those in Granite Company, Granite shed his power armor and took up his father's suit in a red, white, and blue striped tie he found. It was a little tight, but he needed help with the tie. But the next night, met Anderson on stage. The vote came in a few weeks later. The rest, they said, was history. It was a lot of words. Reform. If we are to rebuild our once great nation, we must reform ourselves and our principles. Sadly, many of the reformist elements have already deserted in the last few years, leaving mostly the devoted and fanatical. We will have to tread carefully in our efforts to reform the Enclave to an organized fit to restore order, justice, and democracy to the United States of America. We have freaking power armor, you tribals. We could get a technocrat. Maybe get some bikes. Reform. A lament for reform. The Reformer faction in the Enclave has never had it easy. First and foremost, many of their better natures often led them to desert the Enclave the first chance they got, or do whatever they could to resist the terrible actions they were forced to commit. What's more, those who remained often had to keep their heads down to the machinations of President Richardson. How his hubris bit him hard in the end, with the many reformers banished to the mainland, making up many of the survivors, while the hardline leadership went down with the rig. However, both are at odds for the future of the Enclave. Younger generation have grown up outside the insecure culture of the rig, have a more open view of the world around them, nurtured, of course, by their parents. However, many are beholden by their parents and are sure of the future, given they were forced to flee their homes for no crime aside being alive. As Grant addressed the assembly, he would feel the unnecessary within the room, uneasy uncertainty. Damn it! Today is the beginning of a new era, and many of you entrusted that to me amongst the series of events in my life. Nothing could have filled me with greater anxiety than what you have given to me today. On the one hand, I have summoned by my country. I barely know whose voice I could never bear until never hear until now. My fellow Americans, I hear you. I am but your humble servant. I will pull down my Gatling laser and take up the oath of office. You good people will have all seen fit to hand me. We shall enter this new world with fire in our eyes and pride in our hearts. God bless the Enclave, or God bless America. Legitimacy tutorial. Okay, you didn't do good or do bad. Higher legitimacy comes with bonuses when rule out of new choices in the focus tree. The penalties. Okay, we need to get high legitimacy. I'll keep that in mind. Plus 5 legitimacy. Whoa. Oh my god, a focus tree. Okay, we're going to take Reno. City of Crime. Reno is a watched hive of scum and villainy, offers both a secure base of operations in the margins of the NCR and a chance to show the world the benefits of enclave rule. In favor of Anderson, speak to them personally. Make some sort of reprisal for their recent comments. Major General Grimm was surprised to be invited to the President's personal bunker suite for dinner instead. After a lengthy conversation over roasted deathclaw and scotch, it appears that Major General Grimm has relentless somewhat in their previous convictions. While Grimm may not have been a staunch reformer out of the commander, it appears this may be end of any such outbursts. This fight breakout. It's probably topic on Rio's elections, so I've claimed to provoke the don't really mix issue. To do stab. Okay. Oh, what's my faction? I'm the intellectuals. The Pierce has coming. Trading Enclave. What do you mean we can't sack those traitors? Shouted Grannon. Grannon never experienced reasons officers before. Okay. Oh, Enclave officers are bad now. Secret stolen. Well, we get justification to crackdown. Complaints about ration. We will have to deal with it until the menu changes. Ban the Russian cheese. Maybe it was wishful thinking or naivety that may have been thought life to the depots going back to normal after election. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Instead, things were only seemed to ramp up. Granite's ruthless charisma inspired a fire in many, ready to tackle what the future would bring, and the first order of business was restoring the Enclave armed forces. Depot had begun transforming from a dilapidated ruin from the pre-war era to a rifle post-war fortress to its own right. Vertebras were being reworked. Army defenses were coming back online. And those who couldn't join the armed forces were making up the beginnings of a proper supporting corps. Said army however, was anything but. While all identify as Enclave citizens now, those who had experience were all from different walks of life. From Grant's mercenary outfit to former Falls City security to Anderson Bloomfield garrison, even a small percentage to the oldest members of third generation Enclave since the rig fell, barely older than 17 and had never seen combat, let alone hold a laser rifle. As they all stood in a loose formation, kept together by their seniors, heavy set of power armor's footsteps approached. All looked to see Command Sergeant Dornan take the pad and survey that what could be explained as a formation. He had been given a simple task by the new president, train the next generation of American soldiers. The senior members began ushering everyone to a tighter formation, but when a kid with half his uniform button stood off to the side, he had no interest in any of this. His mother sent him here to have him learn manners. Dorn walked over, his demeanor eerily calm. I get information, son. The kid looked at him and smirked. I don't want to have take orders from you, sir. You're not my dad. You could hear the pin drop from the drill sergeant.
I am not his sir! I work for a living, you moron! You will call me Sergeant or Sergeant Dornan! Do you understand me?
Fortunately, he was a fast learner. Very fast learner. Everyone did push-ups till Dornan got tired. City of Crime. Better call Sal. New Reno is run by crime lords. However, Dornan remembers reports of working with one family to acquire chems for research on a rig. He can still be any use of us, if only for a while. We declare war on New Reno.
Why isn't your video feed working? The fucking president's watching us like a hawk.
Where's the troops at? Where's this? Can we just fucking walk in?
Enclave here. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. That's a no one. Why isn't your video feed working?
Where's your armies at, anyways? Our allies. Before the rig's destruction, we contacted with one of the New Reno's crime family, the Salvatores, trading drugs for weapons. While it was a time-honored tradition, the family was being kicked out of New Reno due to their plot being uncovered. Even plasma rifles can't stop a mob or angry thugs and mob enforcers. They've been living in New Reno outskirts. While the Salvatores themselves have headed north to outrun Mr. Bishop, many of those who have been once employed are now desperate for protection, and we can use that to our advantage, bolstering our numbers and diverting the more scientifically minded to work on lesser projects, freeing up our best for more important research. Should I bring them in, distribute them amongst the team? We need your extra research slot.
Enclave here. Yeah, you can say that again. Who the hell is this? The president? Look.
You'll get makeshift squad automatic weapons. Dornan's teachings. You will get the presidential victory speech.
Enclave here.
We got New Reno as new territory.
Enclave here.
Federal budget. With Conquest of New Reno, the Enclave must now deal with something was put off for 2 centuries. The federal budget. When the Enclave rules a series of vaults and oil rigs and redacted, the Enclave relied on the command economy, but now that it rules a substantial population of wastelanders, it needs to tax them and spend money. For it seems that our wasteland soldiers want a salary and our veterans want more than jaunty propaganda tunes. Oh boy. Standard wages, oh crap. Join New Reno. For the first time in Enclave's history, we claim an American city. However, New Reno's population does not yet see this way. While some are hopeful that the gangsters are being pushed out, others fear and distraught the armored strangers patrolling the streets. Minor acts of resistance, such as throwing rocks or insults, are not common as unsavory types test the limits of our troops' patience. If we appear weak, small arm fire may soon follow. Enclave's not to mess with. The rules of engagement. These have all found. Old World Nostalgia. Get to Lily Hatch. We get some trained mongrels, extra food, immortalization. Presidential victory speech. We can reach out to the centrists. There are many among us who still have not chosen sides in this conflict. We could reach out to those centrists who are at least radical purists to expand our power base, but this will invariably mean making promises that make compromises in our own vision of the Enclave's future. Brad defected to the Troll Warren. The Serum Launcher's liberation of Nerino has chased much of its city's riffraff at the end of the earth. Among those who have fled, Trad, the immortal one of the Master's Grace Warrior, has defected to Troll Warren, where he has rapidly risen to the first ranks. These reinforcements will give the Troll Warren a powerful tool against the Washington Brotherhood, is already overextended, oppressing its neighbors. Excellent. The guards outside the Sierra Army Depot was quite surprised today when a man in strange power armor arrived at the gate striking an Alpha Death Claw. Of course, they fired at him, but the rounds bounced off his armor and didn't even phase the man before presenting a set of credentials of him as Enclave officer. Checking what few records we identify him as none other than Sergeant James Song, who was last seen commanding defense of Navarro against the combined assault of both the NCR and the Brotherhood. While Sergeant Major Dornan may have led the retreat that led the Enclave's survival, General Song led a division that saved the dream of the Enclave. We thought to be sure he had died, but no. He has been captured by the NCR, broke out of their prison, recovered his armor from the Brotherhood, heard the rumors of us here in the depot, killed Alpha Male Deathclaw along the way, dragged all the way here to give our soldiers food to eat, and now reporting for duty. Hoorah! General James Song, you're fired. Get the guy in. That's like death and taxes. Send the Secret Service? I ain't gonna read. That's your I'll read quickly. Translate a group of soldiers, mercenary scientists, I'll collect taxes from the populace right now, just seeing themselves out of protection money from the scoring caravans. Be issues or military grows, we're gonna need collect money. Okay, we need taxes. Centrists. We have no intention of compromising with the NCR. Mutants. Rumors range as possible western ranks. Question ghouls. Ghouls in Enclave, on one hand, many ghouls have come across as frail monsters, but it's pointed out some of our pre-war Americans, barely more Americans in wastelands. Of course, we will never ally with the brothers. Still, never. We're going to first deal with the opposition in our country in order to secure power. While we're getting the upper hand and purists are alive and well, it is time to gather all those who still disagree with our vision in one room so we may address them and their qualms. Many can still be swayed to our side. We can do a scavenging program for our stuff. We can do a whole military theory committee. We'll get a career politician, but hates the followers. That's good enough. It's all day power. Granite's mind raced as he walked around towards the podium. He never knew politics could be as stressful as combat. Perhaps politics was even worse than combat. Since the enemy soldier does not smile at you, only to backstab you later, for the first time, Granite wondered if he was out of his league. Granite quickly brushed away that thought. He had a duty to carry out. Tensions have been high since the elections. Support for the purists has only intensified as a result, especially in the upper echelons of government. To address the situation, Borsti suggests to hold a town hall session with all those with grievance towards the new US government. Now they were all in one room, awaiting answers from their new president. Grant looked at the crowd before him. Many appeared to be disdainful of the new president. The most obvious course of action would be give the speech he and Borsti had meticulously crafted and repeatedly over the past week, attempting to bring them over to the reformist cause. However, a more ruthless president might have grown tired of playing politics with these rats, and may consider them enemy combatants instead. My fellow Americans. Okay, now we are going to kill a lot of people. Let's purge the scientists. This time has come to rid ourselves of our most stubborn purist elements within our research division. We can't let such an essential part of the Enclave be infested with traitors and saboteurs. Demotions, banishments, or executions. One way or another, our scientists will be loyal. Oh crap. Okay, I had to demote two times. Okay, demote scientists now. Big gone wrong. It's time we claim weekly occurrences. Granite Anderson, we're at it again. However, a soldier and not a politician, proven unable to handle Anderson. Endeavor was freedom of speech and sexual right of all Americans, as stated in the First Amendment, Grant said. Anderson stood on the opposite end of the stage with an expressionless look in his face. Even though the election was over, the reformist purist power struggle continued. Grant Anderson continued to verbally clash in debates to sway the fence-sitters. The topic of our today's debate was if the constitutional applies to mutants. Suddenly, Anderson's eyes lit up, sensing an opportunity. President, Anderson said with a sarcastic tone, if freedom of speech applies to everyone, why does the Sierra Daily only publish pro-mutant news? Why don't we hear testimonies from Navarro veterans on the radio. It is because since your reforms control the executive, you suppose views contrary to your own? Granite tried to speak, but Anderson cut him off. Hypocrite! You go on about how freedom of speech is essential right of all Americans, yet you suppress your fellow American with differing opinions. Have you no shame, President? Anderson's voice booms through the room, earning a thunderous applause. Needless to say, this debate did not go well for Granite. Shit. We'll get him next time. Try to bury news of this incident. Yeah. Complaints about the tax squad. We're getting complaints from across our controlled territory about the tax squad. Honestly, we should have had a better plan to just send out the Secret Service to collect taxes from everyone. They're not subtle about it. Shakedowns, intimidations, racketeering. Ah, shit. They don't know what to do, what they are doing, and are just doing what worked for New Reno gangs. More than a few in New Reno alone have pointed out that it's feeling like they just traded the bishops for the Grand Knights, and there were less a governing government and more an organized gang with heavy weapons and power armor. What's worse, there have been more than a few intense standouts between the tax squad and more armed New Reno merchants. Thankfully, none of them ended in bloodshed. However, one of them was a Cedar Caravan Company, which is Colonel Callahan's outfit. Callahan himself has expressed his confusion about why his caravan company is being used to pay his own salary, when it is almost most of his salary. That almost leads to when the tax squad tried to shake down a few off-duty soldiers for their money. Running the country's hard. Okay, we get to Resitor. We purge the scientists, then we purge the officers. The time has come to rid ourselves of the most stubborn, purest elements with our officer corps. We cannot let such an essential part of the Enclave be infested with traitors and saboteurs. Demotions, management, or execution, one way or another, our officers be loyal to us. Okay, only Lieutenant Mary Orwich. Yeah, she's gonna die. A seat selection. We could try to use robots in our corps. Let's work ahead on that. Ooh, what should I spend it on? Rockets or miniguns? Oh boy. It's a hard choice, hard choice. I might take away the rockets from here. We got explosives down here. Hard choices, hard choices. I think I'll take the machine guns later on. We're gonna get some grenades. We're gonna upgrade new routines for our regular troops. Get some trained doggies. Ooh, we could get some tanks. That could be very useful. We purge the officers. We hold a small speech, we hold military exercises, and then we can assassinate Dr. Anderson. Since Dr. Anderson will crush opposition towards our tolerant, inclusive enclave. The Reclamation Authority. Granite has decided to construct a Reclamation Authority, devoting to promoting scavenging in the wasteland. This will give our nation next peace and scours the waste. The old world secrets will be ours. Fortunate news. Unfortunately, it appears some of our soldiers have taken up the practice of blasting a pre-war song from their vertebrae during routine patrols. It does not need explaining how this behavior is reckless and needlessly conspicuous. Nonetheless, our popularity must be considered in these uncertain times. Just ask them to turn it up. Nah. Just ask them to turn it down. No hell, fuck California. Assassinate Dr. Anderson. The attempted purge of Franklin Anderson. The good doctor has been a thorn in our side since his loss in the election. His connections and wits have kept him alive up till now, stubbornly leading his few remaining followers. Up until last minute, Anderson stayed put at his post in the Sierra Army Depot, fulfilling his administrative duties on his terminal. It was our great surprise that we found his office empty, as he left in a great hurry. A vertebrate small group of personnel, some known to his followers, and some power armor are also disappeared around the same time. Damn it. Anderson's terminal has been wiped clean, but analyzed past network traffic reveals has been pinging potential Enclave outposts in the east using expired presidential authentication codes, which are monitoring drops since they automatically failed authentication. This has been rectified, but rest assured, our current remaining presidential authorization codes have never been compromised, and Anderson will be rejected by any remaining Enclave systems. Regardless, Anderson and his most loyal followers are gone and will no longer be a problem for the foreseeable future. Okay, now we're going to secure New Reno first, get our new capital, and I'll be ending it there. Checkmate. Dealing with the bishops. The bishops may have been the most powerful family in New Reno. Mr. Bishop himself is a dangerous man for many reasons, one of which are his numerous political connections in NCR. Crime lords gangsters were loyal enough to face down the other families, but the sight of XO1 power armor some scattered. He has retreated to his mansion, accompanied by only his closet and most loyal surrounding by our force and trap. Now let's capture their assets. Let's add activity until time. A shared dream. The Wrights dreamed of a peaceful, prosperous city. Maybe they can collaborate with us towards a better tomorrow today. Bishop escapes to the NCR. It appears that Mr. Bishop has slipped through our fingers, boarding a secret vertibird for the NCR. His location is currently unclear. We must consider the possibility that he may attempt to pull strings in the New California Republic to turn the bear's attention to us as a meaning of getting revenge. But let's not leave those loose ends untied. A shared dream. Dealing with the Wrights. Some say that as the Wright family has spent the last few decades building with one hand and destroying with the other. But compared to the other families, this makes them more redeemable. Mr. Wright's vision of a more peaceful and stable New Reno is not entirely incompatible with our own. Allow him to go legit. The family of New Reno. New Reno's leaders might be powerful. Its people are a whole separate issue. The family's find kept them in line, and now that they're gone, they can get unruly fast. The future of the Enclave. In the Enclave, loyalty, patriotism, and allegiance were the primary currency. One did it as ordered by the president or the officer above them, and if you were lucky, maybe you could move up past a rank your family had to steer a new course, to avoid the mistake of the past, to go against the grain of the elites. That was the fastest way to an early grave or exile to some far-off mainland outpost, never to be seen again. Thus most Enclave ranks and file were just good soldiers following orders, content with burning a village or torch raiders because they were following orders. They are the Enclave, America. They're the good guys, right? By the time Dick Richardson took over, reformers were nothing more than jaded old soldiers disobeying orders. However, they could or deserted who wanted nothing to do with the Enclave. It is ironic that to save the Enclave dream of America, the Enclave have to be destroyed. A dream is hard to kill, and it is the Sear Army Depot that the shock of seeing the wasteland for the first time, meeting with those deemed mutants, changed so many. When the bombs fell, the Enclave was to be the rich, the elite, or rather the rich old bastards who didn't want to give up the power. Well, now the rich old bastards are dead, and a new Enclave has taken over its place. The question is, what kind of Enclave will it be? America was made to last, no matter the world it's in. It's time for America for a new world. Now for America for a new world. The family of New Reno. Those of New Reno. The ones in charge of New Reno are one thing, the people of New Reno are another. While some are common citizens living in the rough, tough town, the vast bulk are mercenaries, crime enforcers, and petty criminals. While would dare to not face us directly, they know the streets and can easily discover our patrol routes. There's reason even NCR had trouble trying to reign in New Reno. However, we're not the NCR, we're the Enclave. A few of our more bleeding hearts have suggested rebuilding infrastructure and providing goods and services in lieu of patrols. More traditional thinkers, however, know that enforcing the law is in a lawless town and their dead bodies buried in Golgotha are all that is needed to remind wayward New Reno dissidents that they need to mind their Uncle Sam. We are the government and we're here to help. That's the fucking scariest thing ever if you say that. Okay, yes, we did cause the Great War. Okay, we're the government, we're here to help. New capital, we're broken the backs of the scum that run New Reno. Look how much happier everyone is, with Enclave soldiers patrolling the streets. No one complains, not even in private. New capital. With the city of New Reno now fully under our control, we are now governing over a significant amount of wastelanders. Since we cannot install Enclave members to every single position of influence in the city, some wastelanders have begun to exercise the amount of power within our borders. We should encourage this. New Reno, oh fuck. During the liberation of New Reno, we've come across a large population of slaves, triggering off the debates as to whether we should allow the practice of slavery in the United States. We are already away from that, don't want to go back. Although there are those who say slavery is un-American, definitely. Others point out as a captive workforce could be a boon to our economy. That's just shit. It has historical precedent. As a compromise, we could adopt Fall City's servitude system, provide food, protection, medicine care in exchange for involuntary servitude. But other thing is, it seems like slavery with extra steps. If they want slavery, they have elected Anderson. Okay, we need to kill that sneaky son of a bitch. We can make contact with those in the NCR who wants to restore pre-war America's glory. Smoke signals, you get that. Baseball. The president decided to receive a pre-war game to boost patriotism and has gone to the radio with a new speech. We've been thinking quite a bit lately about something we can all relate to, something that is unquestionably, inexplicably American. I refer, of course, to our great national pastime, baseball. Now ask yourself this, what if Nevada's gamblers could live again? What if they could compete with baseball teams from California or Oregon? Put your faith in the Enclave, great America, and baseball will live again. Comfort, recreation, healthy competition, all will live again. This country will live again. And civilian unrest. They're increasingly resistant to our presence. Our territory groups have gathered in New Reno and are becoming increasingly more brash and violent. Teams' attention are now reaching a breaking point, resulting in widespread destruction. Shit. Put them back in their place. Militia training. Infiltrate the MCR and get simple tracks. Oh, we've got to purge the opposition first. Marino returns. Orion Marino is a soldier that used to serve in the Enclave until the destruction of Navarro. Like many others, he fled south in NCR. A loyal soldier, he has never given up on the Enclave's dream of a restored America. Word of the Enclave return reached him. Orion packed his bags to rejoin his lost comrades in arms. Welcome home, soldier. Follows the apocalypse. Following the recent establishment of neighboring rivals, a group of humanitarian pacifists who dubbed themselves the followers of the apocalypse had begun trickling in our lands. Their aim is seemingly noble, to provide services to those in need, ranging from medical care to agricultural advice. They care for the parts of society we prefer to forget, be them homeless or junkies, and are accepted of all that had no one left to turn to. On this front alone, we have no qualms with them. After all, who would refuse free medical supplies? Problems will only start to arise when you look closely at our neighbors, where the followers we have established for a while. Supporter of any sort of war amongst the people of these nations is supplying as they prefer to stay on their farmsteads and practice their new medicines. There's even some indication that the followers accept Sidious anarchists who among to their ranks, who are attempts to either burning our nation to the ground or seize power themselves. We may need to keep an eye on them before if we decide to tolerate the followers remaining in our land. Once established in a nation, the followers appear very difficult to uproot. We must therefore decide swiftly before they have a chance to settle down properly. Whether or not we should welcome these followers of the apocalypse and their strange beliefs in our land. Accepting them will undoubtedly bring benefit, but at what long-term costs? Now let's bring them in. Get ready, your surgeons. We're gonna get a fucking tank. There's the pitch. The new Reno Sergeant played off today against the Vault City Dwellers in Courtyard today, marking their first baseball broadcast over radio in centuries. The match come out about stability and traveled in northern Sierra Wasteland, allowing the Sergeants and the Dwellers to play. The game went for 9 innings before the Sergeant bet everything on a rookie player with 3 bases loaded. With the rookie, Casey scored a home run that saw the Sergeant clinch a victory in a close match. Broadcast game was listened by thousands across California and Oregon. Rumors around these military-style officers in black hanging around the stands as fuel conspiracy theories that the stability of Nevada was brought about by a third party with a French report claiming them that to be the Enclave origin. Ministry officials dismissed these claims, saying that the Enclave died in Navarro, citing lack of evidence on the West Coast. Just rumors. We'll need some vacuum tubes. Rapid deployments. Okay, we do integral support. Urge opposition. I believe the best time to end the episode off here for today, everybody. Thank you for watching my video for today. I appreciate it. Please leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate it as well. And I hope you have the best rest of your day, afternoon, or nights. Goodbye, everyone.